and welcome to Looking Up. This is a podcast for Christian women. I'm Kathy Pollard, one of your hosts, and with me is Carla Moore, your other host. We're just a couple of really good friends living in two different states who like to get together and have good conversation, and we thought we would invite all of you to join us and listen in, and we talk about all different kinds of things, and today we're going to keep it pretty lighthearted and talk about our favorite things, which we've done before. But before we get into that, Carla, I know you have some exciting things going on. So why don't you tell us what all is going on in your life?
Exciting. Well, the Come Fill Your Cup retreat is coming up this weekend. I'm leaving for that tomorrow. So I always look forward to seeing friends there and meeting new friends.
And then, you're speaking. What's your topic?
We're talking about the Psalms this year. And so she divided them up. Christy Huntsman is in charge of it, I believe. I know there's other people involved, but she's assigned different Psalms. And so my topic is Psalms of Lament. So I'll talk about lament Psalms, and then I'll focus on Psalm 10. And I can't remember who all else is going to be there, but it's online, so people could look it up. And I'm not sure even if they're going to record. Do they record these? Do you know? I know they have a virtual retreat, but I can't remember if they...
I think so.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
Sure. Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah. And then next weekend, on Thursday, starts the Bear Valley Lectureship. So by the time this airs on Monday, the Come Fill Your Cup retreat will already be over, but Bear Valley Lectures will be starting the following Thursday. And we'd love to see anybody that might want to come Thursday through Sunday.
It looks like a really good theme this year.
Psalms there too.
Yeah. Well, I wish we could go. I love the Bear Valley Lectureship. It's always a great, uplifting weekend. Beautiful setting, good singing. Lots of fellowship.
The very first time we came was 2016. Well, John had come before, but in 2016, I remember was my first time. And I remember texting you and saying, should I bring boots or sandals? And you said, I mean, in my mind, I was thinking September in Colorado was going to be practically cold, practically winter. And I remember you said, well, I've worn both in September, sandals and boots. And, but then we went up to Estes Park after the lectureship, and the leaves were already changing, and there's not anything, I haven't seen any hint of that yet. It's just, I guess maybe a later fall this year. I did see some leaves falling when we were on the bike ride the other day, but no, usually you can go down Sims and see the trees kind of starting to lighten up, and that's not happening yet. So hopefully we'll have some color for everybody when they come up.
You don't get bored with the weather there.
No.
We've had lectureship where we're all in short sleeves and sandals, and lectureships where we're in sweaters and boots. You just never know which one it's going to be.
Yeah, I haven't looked.
But it's always beautiful either way.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely cooler than Texas, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, fun. Well, I'll be praying for you through all of that. That's all good stuff, but a lot of stuff also.
Yeah, it's hectic, but it's good hectic.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Well, I thought I'd start out by talking about Neil's sense of humor, because, he's real proud of himself, and we've entered into this farming cow thing. And so we have a family group text going. For some reason, one of the boys called our family group text Kentucky Headhunters. I don't know why, but that's the name of it. All right. And Neil sent a picture or said something in it, and he put in there #milk-duds. Because we've been having some issues with, getting started off with a cow and chasing it or milking problems. So he's been calling us #milk-duds.
Did you say Dale is calling you that?
No, Neil.
Neil. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Like he'll send a picture and write something, and then he put #milk-duds talking about us. And then the other thing is, he said that he put in there, Kathy's midlife crisis is a cow Asaki.
Brother. He's cracking himself up.
Oh, it's cute. Well, but I kind of feel like we should have some theme music or something around here, because there's always interesting things happening in the barn. And the other day I was out there, and I was in curlers. I had hair curlers. And, I'm squatting down under the cow, washing her udder or whatever I was doing, and she flicked her tail around, and the hair of her tail stuck in my hair curlers.
Green Acres. That's the
I
theme
know.
song I'm thinking of.
Oh. So anyway, just all these little snapshots that are going to be forever memories, I'm sure.
Well, speaking of his sense of humor, we had, this, we had our cruise group Zoom meeting last night.
Mm.
And he texted me, and I told you I think he meant to send it to our group before, but it came just to me. And he asked what kind of feedback we were getting, and I had said, I told him what you said to me afterwards about how the Zoom meeting was shorter than most of our podcasts. I told that to Neil. I said that you said our Zoom meeting was shorter than most of our podcasts, and he said that's not hard. Gone with the Wind is shorter than y'all's podcast. And then later on, he wrote just one word. He wrote back, roots. So, yeah, his sense of humor. Thanks, Neil.
He's feeling his oats.
Yeah. While the cow's eating her oats, he's feeling his oats.
That's right. That's right. And I've had successes and failures already with all my dairy ventures. I got this book on the creamery, and I've already made some butter. That turned out really good. But I've tried to make mozzarella twice now. And the first time it looked good, but it tasted real rubbery, almost inedibly so. And then I made another batch. Was that today or yesterday? And today. And it wasn't rubbery, but it was still kind of squeaky. Like you could hear it squeak, squeak when you were chewing on it, and it tasted good. But so anyway, I'm still working my technique there, and now I'm trying to make cottage cheese.
Well, I'd like to come taste that.
Well, I know I thought about you. I got to figure it out so I can have some for you when I see you.
Well, how do you change the texture of mozzarella? I mean, is
I don't
it a
know.
length of time, or?
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've tried two different techniques. I've made mozzarella before with regular store-bought organic milk, and I had no issues whatsoever. And now I've tried twice with this raw milk, and I'm having texture issues. So I'm not sure yet.
Well, squeaky doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, it still tastes okay. I just don't, I want the texture to be right. So anyway, practice makes perfect, hopefully.
You still have 2 refrigerators full of milk.
Oh, yes. We sent 2 gallons, all the kids came over on Labor Day. We sent 2 gallons home with each of them.
What are you storing it in?
The milk itself?
Yeah, like do you have gallon jugs and things, or what?
Half-gallon canning jars, glass jars is what we're putting it in. And
so they bring them back to you.
Yes, yes. Took some to church Sunday night for some people. And you know how some people, like, if there's a salesperson at church, you don't want to be that person. Oh, here she comes wanting to sell something. I feel like that's going to be me with milk. You want some milk? You want some more milk? Can I give you some milk?
They're going to be saying, here comes the Dairy Queen again. At least you're giving it away. You're not trying to sell something.
That's right. That's right. Well, last week, we mentioned, or no, wasn't last week. Whenever we talked about side hustles, and I said Janelle was making leather earrings, but I didn't know she was selling them yet.
Yeah.
She is. She's selling them in a local shop in Tompkinsville and starting a little Etsy shop. So yeah. I wanted to get that little update. They're really cute. Yeah.
I love those leather earrings too, because they're so light.
Yes,
they don't,
these are very light.
Hold your ears down. And I can't stand heavy earrings. So while I have heavy earrings on today.
They're cute though. They look turquoise.
That's all that matters, right?
It's a good color combination with your raspberry colored shirt and your turquoise earrings. You're welcome.
Yeah. Glad you got that raspberry right.
Well, for our listeners, before we hit record, I said, that is your color. That red shirt looks good on you. And you said raspberry.
Gotta get it right.
That's right. That's right. Oh. Hey, ask me if I went thrifting.
Did you go thrifting, Kathy? Did you find something?
Yes. Okay. This is fun. We have a local shop here that's closing. That part's sad. But we went on their very last day. It's called the Village Keep. We found pieces there that we brought into our home and loved. It's like antiques and then furniture that the owner's taken and kind of upcycled, or painted and all that kind of stuff. Well, so we went in there on their last day and there wasn't much left, but everything was majorly marked down. And we found the cutest little random thing. So if you're watching, have a little show and tell for you, okay?
Okay.
So the first thing, look at this bowl.
Oh,
Is this
fun.
not the cutest thing? And it's a very interesting lid.
It kind of looks like Fiesta.
It does. It's not. There's nothing on the bottom.
Hmm.
There's no markings whatsoever. But I love
Is
the
it
color.
ivory?
It's kind of a salmon color.
Okay.
Like a textured salmon color. But she had these stickers on everything. This was like $1.
Oh, nice.
And originally it was $30 in there. So that's how far down she had marked things by the time we went in. So we just went crazy. Look at this teeny tiny little basket.
Aww.
This little metal wire basket. I found all kinds of baskets of all different sizes. And one of them is big enough that I put all my wooden cutting boards in it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then I found this little amber pedestal bowl.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's got chocolate in it for our home.
Did it come with the chocolate?
It did not come with the chocolate, but we're putting that in our home library, and this little wire basket thing with handles.
That looks like you could put strawberries or something in it.
Yes, all kinds of possibilities. And I found a sculpture. See this?
Oh.
She's holding, it's a girl with a long dress holding her hat like the wind's about to take it away. And it's an Austin sculpture.
Cool.
This was the most expensive thing we bought in there. It was $25, but it's worth, like, depending on where you find it, about $200.
Wow.
And it's our first sculpture, and she looks right at home on my piano. So this is our bit of culture.
I've never heard of Austin sculptures.
Well, I know when we looked at it, she said, "Oh, that's a good price. That's an Austin sculpture." And I went, "Oh, really?" But I didn't know what that meant. I had to go look it up.
You could have said, "Oh, well, wow, okay," like you knew what you were talking about.
And then check this out.
That's an old-fashioned coffee maker, huh?
Well,
like a drip.
When we first looked it up, we didn't think it was because there's no holes in there, but there are. They're just so tiny. You can only see them if you hold it up to the light. They're teeny tiny holes in there.
So it is a coffee maker?
It's called a drippolator.
50s,
and you put the coffee in here inside this little kettle part. And then you put this on top, and it's got little measuring marks on it. You pour your hot water in there, and then it steeps through very, very, very slowly. And so we've already made a pot of it. It was fun and good. It was more of it's not very practical because it takes forever, but it's kind of a novel, fun thing. But you don't have any coffee grounds in your coffee, for sure. Nope, you don't. And then we found this humongous roasting pan, one of those heavy duty ones with the big like steel handles on the side, and it has the roasting racks that are real heavy, 2 different sizes. $10 nice for that. So anyway, we found all kinds of fun stuff. You hit the jackpot. I feel like Carla Moore. Last year when I was getting ready for lectureship, you were there, so you saw my little corner that had the snacks and things in it, and I wanted it to look kind of vintagey, like 50s, 60s. So I went looking for cute. Well, and one of my things that I'm going to talk about today was on that table, but I went looking for an old kind of percolator like they used to use. And I found one that was on wooden legs, kind of like the one that you just showed at that, what's the name of that antique store with the root beer bar in it? You remember what I'm talking about? No. It's called the Antique something or other. Anyway, I found a fun old, I don't know why it's fun to use old stuff like that, but yeah, that's a good find. I like that. And you know how to display it to where it looks really good. Well, you make it look super cute. Thank you. I thrifted something fun. Unless I'm not done. Okay, I also found 2 chairs for our dining room table. They're mismatched, beautiful chairs, really gorgeous chairs. And then 2 lamps. One of them is huge. And then I was going to put up in the library, but I actually like it down here in the living room. And we put one on either side of our couch. Can you spin the camera where I can see it? Is it that over there, that blue based? Yeah. Wow, that is a nice one. And they match? Nope. Oh. Okay. They're all mismatched. Okay. Mismatch is fun. Yes. Well, mine is something that maybe nobody but me would want. And let's see if I can pick it up without dropping everything off of my table. It's a sewing basket. A sewing, but you are so special. That's cute. But it's a heavy duty, like wooden. You can see the where it's, I don't know, it's
buckled together, but
Mhm.
on the inside it's padded. It's got padding, so you can like
Oh,
stick your pins in there. Anyway, I thought it was fun. This was like $7, but that was
that
that was
design on it reminds me of that painting that was so popular in the early 90s. What was
mhm.
that called? Like, what was
Toll
it called?
painting or something
Toll
like that.
painting.
Yeah,
Yes.
it does kind of look like that. And I mean, it is kind of old fashioned looking, but it's I like it, and that's kind of what
Cute.
to me thrifting is. You find stuff that you
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, Micah texted me after the episode when you asked me what my design style was. He wrote me and he said, "Yes, Goodwill is your style." So he agreed. And that is kind of something silly to be known for, but it's true.
Well, I'm not good at it, but I love to bring things in that just have a story or they're old or,
Mhm.
instead of going to Target or
Right.
somewhere like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I
Hmm.
love bringing stuff in that just is
Yeah,
old.
has a history. Some of those, like
Yes.
if you find
Yeah.
old quilts, if you ever see an old quilt,
Mm-hmm.
if especially I wouldn't want to sell them. And I have before. I know I think I told everybody that I sold those quilt tops last year sometime. But if you find an old antique quilt that has a signature on it, those things are worth tons of money just
Oh.
because it's kind of a proof that it makes people's imagination start like who made this and
Mm-hmm.
did they have a quilting bee and what's the family story, and then if you can find the story behind it, it's worth even more. So people
Oh.
like to know the history behind things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good
Mhm.
tip. I never check for signatures.
Well, those are not, you don't see those very often, old antique quilts like that, especially for a
Mm-hmm.
decent price. A lot of times they'll be $200 or $300, but
Oh,
that's a little over my price range.
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, that's better.
Mhm.
All right. Well, do you have anything you want to share before we,
I don't think so.
you're keeping track of the time?
All right, 17.
17. So that's what
Mhm.
I'll put. Okay. So we're sharing some more favorite things. This will be the third time we've done this. And these are just, first of all, random things that we like. We're not trying to convince anybody to buy things. We said this before, but I'm going to say it again. We are not sponsored. We're not affiliates. We're not profiting in any way from anything we're sharing. In fact, some of mine aren't even things you can buy, they're
Mhm.
just
Me
free
too.
things. We're just sharing things that we like. We think it's fun to talk about them. And we thought some of y'all listening might be interested too. So that's all we're going to do. And I think we each have about 7 things that we're
Mhm.
going to share and talk about. And then we'll be done.
Yep,
Do you want to go first?
I can.
Okay.
My first one is it is one of those things that you can't buy. And I started when you decided to do favorite things again, I thought maybe we could talk about, and we didn't, but maybe we could talk about things that we would grab if there was a fire coming. What is it in your home that is really precious to you that you might grab?
Oh, you went sweet.
Well, on this one, on
Yeah,
this one.
none of mine are grabby things.
Okay. Well, the rest of mine are not either, but this is it's a basket. If you're watching, you can see it's a Longaberger basket that I found at Goodwill, but it's not the basket that's what's my favorite thing. It's the recipes that are inside, and
Oh,
it's a mess. You can tell it's a mess.
oh,
But I have my mom for my wedding gave me a recipe box full of recipes that she had typed out. She had written some, but most of them, if you're watching, you can see most of them were like this on index cards that
mm-hmm,
she typed, and then she put little stickers on them, and uh, and then she would write little notes on them. Like this one is a recipe for orange Julius. Do you remember those?
mm-hmm.
Have you ever had one?
They're good.
So she has the recipe for it, but at the bottom she wrote, "This will hurt painfully sensitive teeth." So I have lots of her recipes in here. There are a few that she hand wrote. Of course, I can't find one right now because most of them are. Here's one, Ruth Burkett's Punch, that she wrote. And Ruth Burkett was a friend of ours from San Marcos days when I was growing up. One of her daughters was a good friend of mine. So she hand wrote some, but a lot of these are not from her. In fact, I would say probably a third of them are from her, and then other ones are from friends over the years And I guess it's just so special because when I look through it, here's my one from my cousin Jana that has her handwriting. My sister-in-law Karen's cheese ball. Um, there's Bobby Hyde and there's Lemonite and Francis O'Donnell and Carolyn Gully and Angela Smith. I mean, it's like a history of friendship over the years. And a lot of them came from, does Neil do this? John brings home from gospel meetings. He always brings
Yes,
home a recipe from somebody. He's
he
been over to their
does.
house and he wants the recipe. And so he brings it home and he tells me, you've got to make this. This is the best, whatever. So anyway, it kind of gets junky in here because I use a recipe and then I set it on top. Like it's supposed to be filed under appetizers or biscuits or casseroles, but I don't do that. I just set it back on top. And then maybe once a year, I'll pick the ones off the top and then file them again. But anyway, this is one of my absolute favorite things because it's just got a lot of memories attached to it. And this goes back and forth with me from Drippin' to Denver all the time because I don't want to leave something behind, a recipe that I like to use. But things like I used to make tea syrup. Have you ever heard of that?
I have never heard of that.
So it's my mom made it when I was growing up, and the recipe calls for a 5-pound bag of sugar.
Whoa.
And then a box of loose tea, which if I hadn't made it, I would have never even known that it existed like that because tea usually comes in a bag, But so you bring water to a boil and then you put the leaves in the water and let it steep for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And then you have to balance a really fine sieve over the top of your sugar and pour the liquid from the tea over the sugar. And then you let that soak in, and then you put more water on top of the tea leaves, bring it to a boil, let it steep for another 10 minutes. And then you pour that liquid over the top of the sugar. And then by then it's kind of starting to dissolve. It's like a big sugar, mass of sticky sugar. And by the third or fourth time that you steep and then pour over the top, you stir it and it's real thick. So then you have a syrup that when you want sweet tea, you just fill a glass full of water and ice, and then you pour like a tablespoon or two of the tea syrup in it, and you've got sweet tea. And it was really, really good. And I made it for years until 2011 when we went on Weight Watchers, and I realized I can't drink that much sugar. And so I just don't do sweet tea anymore unless it's artificially sweetened. But anyway, that's my first favorite thing. It's my recipe box.
We really are the same person. I have a recipe box from when we were first married, and I sat down with my mom and my grandma before I got married, and we all hand wrote recipes of theirs. And so I have recipe cards in there that have both of their handwriting on them. And then I had my grandpa typed out a bunch of grandma's recipes on index cards, and it looks exactly like what you just showed me. Must be the same typewriter, minus the stickers.
It's just fun. So,
but when I'm pulling them out and making recipes, I do the same thing. I never file them back. I end up with this big stack right on top. And every now and then I'll go through and make myself put them back where they go.
Yeah. We should go through our recipe boxes and share our favorites. I mean, there's so many memories attached to these that I'm looking through, and just, I can even remember where, like there's one banana pudding. My mom used to make what do you call it? A custard where you cook it, John's mom would make banana pudding with Jello pudding and Eagle brand milk and Cool Whip. And I love that kind, but mom she made a custard out of milk and eggs and cooked it and thickened it, And so on this recipe, it's for banana pudding, but right underneath it says, remember Grady, because before John and I got married, I knew Grady loved banana pudding, and I tried to make a banana pudding for him, and I used cheap vanilla wafers that were stale. And so when I put it all together, I thought he's going to be really impressed with me, and he's going to think I'm the perfect woman for his son. And then he took one bite of it, and he ribbed me for the rest of his life. He ribbed me about how bad that banana pudding was. Memories. I think that's what I love about this, is when I look at the recipe and mom has written, remember Grady. So
that's cute.
Yeah, it's fun.
You should have ended with that one.
Oh,
I
I
mean, it's
started with
pretty
the
much
best.
downhill from here.
Yeah, it really is. And when I'm looking at the rest of my favorite things, it really is downhill from
I'm
here.
looking at my first one going, don't want to share. Just
So did I win?
who can you won. We're
Okay, we can
done.
just
Thanks for a
finish.
good episode. Until next time.
Keep looking at.
Okay,
No,
well, that was yeah, thanks for starting out with that. My first one
I
has
won. I won.
no no memories attached to it whatsoever.
Okay.
It's this Italian herb seasoning grinder. You can tell
Okay.
it's almost gone for those of you
Hmm.
who are watching. This is from Sam's, and it's right where they keep their sea salt grinder and their black pepper grinder. Have you tried this stuff?
I was fixing to say, yeah, we are the same person because there's one of those in my cabinet.
It is
If
so
I could
good.
go get it, I would go get it.
It's so in the bottle, it has dried garlic, salt, dried onions, spices, chili peppers, basil, oregano, rosemary, marjoram, thyme, and
Hmm.
sage. But it grinds it fresh
Hmm.
when you use it. So we top our pizzas with
Hmm.
this. I put it in my green beans, roasted potatoes. I
Spaghetti
mean,
sauce.
spaghetti sauce, pretty much
Yep.
anything. I use this stuff all the time and I
Hmm.
love it. So that's my first favorite thing,
Mine
Italian herb
doesn't look
seasoning grinder.
exactly like that. It doesn't have that square top, but it's Italian
Mm.
seasoning with a grinder. And I got it at either Costco or Sam's. I can't remember which.
Yeah, this is the Sam's version of it. But
Yeah, good stuff. So that
yeah,
goes with my recipe box.
yes, it does. My grandma used to use an Italian seasoning grinder. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's her bottle. Okay.
What's your second one?
My second one is it's a Pampered Chef tool, and I don't even know what to call it.
Oh,
But it is, do you have
it's
one
a
of these?
razor blade.
Well,
It's a
there is
razor.
a really sharp thing in it. If you're
Oh,
watching, you can see it's for corn.
I do not
You
have one of those.
so when
No,
you do you like corn on the cob?
I love
Do,
corn on
do
the
you
cob.
cut it off?
No.
Well, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but I like to make, especially this time of year when we come back to Denver, they have the Olathe corn,
Oh,
Kansas. Is it
mm-hmm.
Olathe?
I don't know.
I don't know, whichever one, but it's fresh corn from
Mm-hmm.
Kansas. And so it's like 6 for $1 this time of year. But I like to make homemade cream corn with it. And to
Yes.
do that, you
Okay.
cut it off the
Yeah.
cob. So if you can see, it's got a sharp edge, but it's curved. So when you're going to cut your kernels off the corn, you just hold it, with the ear in the bowl, and then you can slice down all down the side of the corn, and it doesn't just cut the kernels off the cob, but it slices them, which you want to do to get the liquid out of the corn to make the cream corn.
Mm-hmm.
And it just cut. When I used to make it before I had this tool, I just noticed that it still got some hair on it. Didn't clean it too well last time, I guess. But I used to have to take each kernel of corn and slice the kernels, each row of kernels with a knife. So 25 or 30 rows of kernels, have to slice down the side and then cut them off and then scrape them to get all the meat or whatever you call it out. And so this just really cuts down on the time. And maybe that's a kind of a silly tool, but it's something that's unique and I have enjoyed using
Oh,
it. And I just got it last year, but it's from Pampered Chef.
I do cut. For some reason, when you asked me that, I was thinking about like when you're eating corn on the cob. Do you eat
Mm-hmm.
it off the cob or do you cut it off the cob? My
Mm-hmm.
sister cuts hers off the cob. But yeah, we do the same thing. We make cream corn to freeze.
Mm-hmm.
We use Joyce Johnson's recipe. It is so good. But
Mm.
I'm using the knife to cut it
Yeah.
all and then to scrape the milk off the cob.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you need one of these.
yeah, I
And
do.
also corn salads, which are good in the summertime too, with dill and lime
Yes.
juice and stuff like that. It's really good.
So Pampered Chef corn scraper thing.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
very technical term for it.
Oh, fun one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So are you done?
Yep.
Okay. My next one is this Thunder Wonders Calming Chews for Dogs. I do not take this myself,
Well,
but Ollie, in his old age, he's 8 years old now, has developed a fear of thunderstorms. He has always been fearless. We've called him Mighty Mouse for years because he's not afraid of anything. And all of a sudden, if it thunders, he starts shaking all over and wants to be in my face and just pressing up against me, shaking. He'll start panting. And, or if he hears a gunshot in the distance from somebody hunting, when the guys were building the barn, they were using nail guns. He reacted the same way. So he's just developed this fear. Well, Neil mentioned it in a sermon. I don't even know why. I can't remember what it had to do with anything. But he mentioned in a sermon Ollie's new fear of thunderstorms. And the Medlins came up and told me about this stuff. And so I was a little bit nervous because I thought, what is in here? But I
CBD oil for dogs.
Probably. No, it's chamomile and passion flower and ginger and melatonin.
Oh.
But so I gave him
and a little splash of Benadryl.
Yeah, we get lots of thunderstorms here. So I gave him half of one, and in just a few minutes he stopped shaking. And it just kind of made him like relaxed and chill and and all that. And so we had another big storm come along last night, and sure enough, thunder, lightning flashing. He runs to me, he starts shaking. I gave him half of one of these and he just calmed right down. So
I wonder what would happen if you gave him a whole one.
Well, I was looking at the weight and it says that they're for 25 pounds and he's a 10-pound dog. So that's why I gave him half of one.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's effective. I wouldn't want to know telling how he would respond if I gave him a whole one, but
he'd sleep out in the yard in a thunderstorm.
Thunder, Wonder, calming chews for dogs. And it says you can use it for thunder, fireworks, separation anxiety, travel, or if they're going to get groomed and they have a hard time with that. So
where do you get it?
I ordered it online, Amazon, I think. Okay. But this is the brand they recommended, and it's really good.
Good to know. I know people that their dogs, they've used like a weighted blanket when a thunderstorm comes, and they hate any holiday that has fireworks because of that. So
especially since it's never just on the 4th of July. It's 3 or 4 days leading up and 3 or 4 days on the back
and it will be in the like if it's anything like at home, it'll be midnight all of a sudden.
Yes.
Why do we wait until midnight to do that?
I don't know. All right.
Okay, that's yours. My next one is a little bit embarrassing to recommend, but for those of you who have roots that you need to touch up, this Clairol, if you can see it, if you're watching, you can see it. Clairol root touch-up spray. And before I started coloring my hair, I did not know that this was made. I had no idea people could use this. But so when your roots start growing out, and I've got dark hair, so they show really, really quickly it just looks like I have a really wide part for a while, and then it starts getting wider and wider. But you can get different colors. I just use the medium brown, but you can get dark brown, you can get dark blonde, whatever your natural color is. But it covers up your roots, so you don't have that skunk stripe. And this one, I used to use the one in the blue can, which I think is L'Oreal, and it felt more like a just spray paint kind of. And one time, I remember that I would take my glasses. I used it, and I would take my glasses off and put them on top of my head. So when I'm talking to someone right next to them, it's like you're right here in my face, so I have to take my glasses off. And so when I put them on top of my head, and then I put my glasses back on, when I set them on my nose, I noticed that John was looking at me funny when I took my glasses off the next time, and he was going, giving that universal signal for you've got something on your nose, like rubbing his nose and looking at me. And it had come off on my glasses, the spray from my head. So I was transferring it onto the bridge of my nose. Anyway, this one doesn't do that. It says color and volume, 2-in-1 spray. So you spray it and it covers up your roots temporarily, of course, because it washes out. But it also is it kind of gives the texture of a mousse. So it gives you a little bit more body in your hair, more so than just the one that I used to use. So anyway, it's like I said, temporary. It washes out, but it's a good thing to kind of go in between coloring if you color your hair,
especially if your hair grows fast. Yeah,
and mine does. And I asked T why it always seems to fade right here at my temples faster, and I didn't know if my hair was growing faster there. And she said, "Well, it's probably because you wash your face." and it takes that color out a little bit faster than other areas in your hair. So
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Good. Very
Next.
practical. It's very practical.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm very excited about this next one.
Good.
It's an app and it's free.
Okay.
And Dale introduced it to me the other day. It's called Bible Map. Do you have that one?
Mm-mm.
Does your John Moore husband have that one?
He does not, that I know of. Bible map.
Bible Map. It is so cool. So what it does is when you pull it up and you open up any text in the Bible, any geographical location, and even place like a certain building, that they'll mention by name, above it is a map. And as you hit that, it'll highlight it on the map. So when you're reading about these geographical locations, Jerusalem, Syria, or, Samaria, or anything like that, it'll highlight it for you on the map.
Wow.
Then you can hit the little I for information next to that highlighted place on the map, and it'll pull up pictures of it, modern day pictures if they have them, and then also information about that place. And for your map selection, you can do a traditional map, which looks like something that you might, hang up in a classroom, or you can do satellite map, or a mixture of both, which will have
Wow.
the names of all the places on there. Plus, it's a satellite view that you can zoom in on. So I'm really, really interested in geography, but I'm also very weak in geography, and especially like learning it and then remembering it. So I love this. I am so excited. And
John
anytime
is
you're
going to go
studying,
nuts.
yes, anytime you're studying any part of the Bible and any geographical location or place comes up, you can have it right there in front of you. It's so cool.
And it
Bible Map
downloads really
app.
fast. I just downloaded it.
Yep, and it's free.
So,
Mhm.
so I'm looking, okay, you can go to a certain, like you can go to Ruth chapter 1
Mhm.
and then tap on Moab and it shows you where Moab is.
Yes.
So it highlights, I'm sure you said all this, but I was busy downloading it. So it highlights all of the all of the locations that are in the chapter. This is
Yes.
super cool.
So mine's open to Acts 1. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if people that are watching can really see that, or if the screen's giving
Mm-hmm.
it a glare. And it's got Jerusalem in red, Israel, Samaria, Galilee, the mount called Olivet, the upper room even. And
Wow.
so when I touch any of those, it zooms in on it on the map. And then there's a little eye and a blue circle next to it. And I hit that and it pulls up modern day pictures of Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath with 13 pictures, more pictures that I could look at. And then all this information about Jerusalem and other references in the Bible, geology, climate. I mean, it just goes on and on. So it's fantastic.
We could use this on the cruise.
Yes, we
Looking
can.
at Cyprus.
Yes, we
Well, you
can.
didn't know it, but you just made John's week because it's something that he can tell the students about. And, but it makes it real too. Like, I mean, you and I know it's real, but when you see it in the Bible and then you can tap on it and see exactly where it is, like when you're studying about Ephesus, well, where exactly is that? And how close is it to Thessalonica? And how close is that to Rome? That's very, very cool.
Well, and I love how the Bible text is right below it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you run across Jerusalem or Cyprus or something, you click on that and you read about it. And then later on in the Bible, you might want to click on it again to refresh your memory. How many times will it take for you to do that to actually start remembering things
Right.
about these locations that you're reading about? And to me, that will just enhance your study and help you envision it better or put yourself there. Or, I thought that was great. I was really excited. As soon as Dale told me about it, I said, put that on my phone right now.
Yeah. Well, I just typed in Acts 17 and then it pulled up, I'm assuming all of like on the little map above it has little pins and all of the different locations that are in Acts 17. So you can see how close together they all are, or far apart, if you want to put it that way. That's super cool.
But did you see where you can change the different map styles?
Where do you do that?
Go to, no, not there, not there. I'll have to play with it. I was playing with it.
So the
earlier.
columns, there's scripture, and then there's locations, and then there's artifacts, and then there's major Bible events.
Yeah,
Well, maybe I need to remember that we're recording a podcast right now and quit playing with my phone, but that's super cool.
I'll figure that out and share it with you later. But
Yeah.
that's my next one. What's your next one?
Okay, you win. That's the coolest.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Okay, my next one is a thing that may sound like I'm not selling it at all, but I know you can find it, and you probably have your own kind, but it's tea tree oil. And this one happens to be doTERRA. I don't know how to say it. But I have used Melaleuca's tea tree oil. What is the one that you use? The brand that you use? Revive. I'm sure they have tea tree.
In fact, I started out with 10 things on my list, and you said you only had 7, so I crossed mine off. I had Revive essential oils down there.
Yeah.
That I crossed
Well, you
off.
turned me onto that too, because I got I did get that hand sanitizer that you said was like the one that I used before. Anyway, tea tree, it actually says Melaleuca. So I guess that's the name of the tree. I'm pretty sure it's the name of the tree that you get tea tree oil. But this has a very strong smell, which I like. My mom does not like it. But back when my kids were in high school, one of them in particular always had an issue with like staph infections, which were, I don't know if the right word is rampant, but they were rampant in the locker rooms. And I imagine they probably still are. In fact, they might even be more serious now, because it seems like things are kind of harder to control antibiotic wise these days. But I would just, whenever I would start seeing a little sign of one of those infections coming on, I'd just get a cotton ball and put some Melaleuca or tea tree oil on it and cover it maybe with a Band-Aid. And it knocked it out, which is a pretty big deal, because staph infections can be serious. And I know that might not necessarily work with everyone, but I mean, I've got a Band-Aid on my finger right now because I got a thorn from some kind of something out at the retreat last weekend. And I guess I didn't get it all out, and it started looking like it was getting infected. This is kind of gross, sorry, but I've put some of the tea tree oil on it, and I can tell that it's going away. But I think it works for different kinds of, you're not going to like this, but toenail stuff. And it's just, I don't know what it is about it. I really don't understand what it is, but it helps to clear up staph infections. It helps to clear up really any kind of infection. There was one time I remember that he went to a youth retreat, and I remember there was something on his arm, and I was kind of a little bit worried about it. So I drew a line around it to kind of see where it was. And by that night, it was extended, the red area had extended beyond the line. So he ended up coming home, and we, I guess maybe I should have put the tea tree oil on it, but I didn't. So anyway, I'm just saying that this is good stuff, and it might help different things that other people have going on. So I thought it would be good to just mention it, because it's been helpful to us over the years. And I know you can get it at the drugstore. I don't know the purity, if it's better to get it from a essential oil company, but all of them will have it.
I think you want to look for a therapeutic grade.
Okay. Does it say on the bottle? Yeah, therapeutic grade. CPTG, certified pure therapeutic grade. What does that mean?
It's just not, it's pure, it's not diluted in any way. Some companies will say pure essential oils, but it's not really. So you want to look for those words, therapeutic grade. But
okay.
I made Boo Boo Balm for our farm stand with yarrow, and I included tea tree oil in it, and it's for rashes, cuts, burns, bites, things like that. But I put tea tree oil in that too.
Good to know. Yeah, it says that this was for aromatic or topical use. You can diffuse it aromatically or apply topically. Dilute with a carrier oil to minimize skin sensitivity, but I never did do that. I just put it lasts forever, because it's a teeny tiny little hole, and I just put it on a cotton ball and tape it down.
Anyway, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is, have you ever heard of a thermal label maker? See
I
that?
think so, but I don't know what it is.
So Janelle told me about this one because I've been needing something to put on my jams and products that I'm making for the farm stand, but I didn't want to have to go, I didn't want to have to order expensive labels. I didn't want to be buying ink all the time. So she found this thing, and it's a thermal label maker. So it doesn't use ink or ribbon or anything like that. And so, and it comes with a small size label, and then you can order bigger size labels, which is what I did. So you can use this for labeling anything that you want to sell, but also if you're doing something that needs a barcode on it, or if you just want to do address labels or pretty much anything. And so, but it's Bluetooth. So I can hook it up to my phone, and then it comes with all these designs. So I can come up with, I think I brought, here's a little example. See, I put that little
Go a little closer.
outline.
Yeah.
That's the very
Okay.
first one I played with, but you can
Okay.
change the font. You can come up with outlines. You can do, if you do a logo or an emblem or something, you can put it on there, and you can store your designs and things on your phone. So
But
anyway,
if it doesn't have ink, how does it print?
I don't know how it does it. It's thermal somehow. I don't know what that means, but
I
it's
don't even know what that means.
wonderful. I don't either. I'd have to look into it, but
Do you
I was
have
really,
to, there's no replacement cartridge for anything to,
no, all you do is buy your label stickers, and it
must
comes
be
in a
heat or
roll.
something.
It comes in a roll that, yeah, you comes on a roll that you just stick in there, and they're not expensive at all. The replacement rolls of different sizes are not expensive.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank
Oh, the brand is, I don't know how to pronounce it. It looks like Fomemo. Phomemo. Fomemo. Fomemo. I don't know, but you're watching, there it is.
Fomemo.
Fomemo.
Hmm.
Right.
Okay. Is that it?
Mhm.
All right. My next one is a game.
Ooh. Haha.
It's right up your alley. And I know you played it. It's just bananagrams.
Oh, I love that game.
And this is coming on the cruise with us because it's
Oh,
packable.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So had never played it until maybe a month or so ago. And so it's basically you're playing Scrabble with yourself, sort of. You get, depending on how many people are sitting around the table, you probably know how to play this better than I do, but depending on how many people are playing, you get a certain number of tiles out of the pile. You keep them face down. So I think if it's like 4 to 6 people, you each get 15 tiles to begin with. And then the rest are in the center. And then when everyone is ready and the tiles are still face down, you say split. And then everybody turns over their tiles. And so you start making words. And you can diagonally, horizontally, vertically connect them that way. And then as soon as you have created words with all of your tiles, then you say peel, and everyone has to draw another tile. And so you keep creating words. And sometimes, you could just be going peel, 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 because maybe you have an I already in the stack, and you can put an H next to it and make the word high. But you keep on peeling until all of the tiles are used up. And the first person that uses them all up with and has all of the words says bananas or something like that. And then everyone checks your words. And then, so if you win that one, then you Scrabble them all up again. And it's just a word game. And I like word games, and it's small, and I like it. It's fun.
It's perfect for travel.
Mm-hmm.
We describe that as Scrabble on steroids.
Okay. Well, that works too.
Yeah, it's all about speed.
Yeah.
You have to think fast, build fast, work fast. And if you're the one that still has 6 or 7 tiles you're trying to place, and somebody else is going peel, 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 peel,
It's frustrating.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun.
We played it this weekend at the staff retreat with, Lynn, Rhonda Greenway, Nancy Ballard, Kim Kasarjan, and one other person. And Nancy Ballard just beat the pants off of all of us. And she was just so calm. And she would just say, peel, peel. And, if I'm doing it, I'm like, peel, peel. Because you get more excited as you go.
Are you good at it?
I think so. So challenge.
No, my sister needs to challenge you. My
Oh,
sister's the best. Any word game. I mean, it's not like she's good at it. She's crazy good at it. Any word game. She
okay.
blows I consider myself pretty good at that game.
Hmm.
And she will blow you out of the water.
Well, you have to know all of those little Scrabble words like
And she
QI
does. She
or
does.
QAT or
Mhm.
JO. Those are words that you can play in Scrabble, but most people don't know them, and I really don't know what they mean, but I know they're words.
Yeah. I
So
think
if you put a word down that is not a word and you get challenged, then then you lose and you have to put all of your tiles back in the center, mix them up, and everyone else keeps playing. Right? Is that
I
the way
don't
you
know.
play it?
I don't,
No, you
I
never
guess
lose,
so.
so you
I've
don't
never.
know. Well, you're gonna lose on the cruise.
Oh, I'm gonna lose on the
You're gonna lose
cruise.
on the cruise because I'm going to beat you. I'm gonna
Challenge
may have to eat my
accepted.
words.
Challenge accepted.
All right.
Good thing I'm not competitive.
Not at all.
Okay, so my next one, I'm having second guesses now that I'm actually here
Okay.
about sharing this because it's a book.
Hmm.
And I haven't read it all the way through. And the last time I did that publicly,
Hmm.
I ended up having to retract because then I started running across some things that weren't great. So
Uh-oh.
I was like, about that book I recommended, ha ha
Hmm.
ha. But I'm kind of fascinated by this idea of colors that, you know how they used to do seasons, like are you a spring,
Hmm.
summer, fall, or winter?
Color wheel stuff.
Yeah, I've always been kind of fascinated about that kind of stuff anyway. Well, this one is called Color Your Style. The subtitle is How to Wear Your True Colors, and it's by David Zyla, Zyla. But it's a little bit different because he talks about breaking down different types of colors based on the kind of impression you want to give people. And it usually suits your specific situations or job. For
Hmm.
instance, for people in ministry, there's a color that's your essence color, and it's basically your shade of white. Not everybody needs to be wearing a pure white, and it has to do with your skin tone. This book helps you determine which is your shade of white. But when you wear that color, that's your vulnerability color, where you're letting people, it's basically your way of saying, I'm not putting up any barriers. I'm naked, not in a sexual way, but I'm not, oh, this just went south.
We don't use that word on this podcast.
Not, but I'm being vulnerable and open and honest with you. That's what stop it, because you are not helping me at all. Quit
Yes.
your.
I'm just enjoying watching you dig out of that hole. Okay, sorry.
Anyways, that's your essence color. So if somebody's coming in for counseling, which I know you do quite often,
Hmm.
you would wear your shade of white. Stop it, Carla. Your essence color, because it would help.
Trying not to, and I'm tired, and so things are funnier when I'm tired.
I'm trying
Okay,
to say something important.
you're trying to be vulnerable.
No, I'm
Okay,
not. But it would help them
okay.
open up to you. It's supposed to help them open up to you better. And then there's colors in here that it's like your shade of black, your shade of khaki,
How do
your
you know what is the right shade?
well, he tells you in here, and it has to. You know how a lot of things have to do with your um, are you blue toned, or do you have pink undertones? Well, this one is more along the things like you look in your eye, and what is the darkest color that you see? Because hardly anybody's eyes are just one straight color. If you look really closely, you have multiple, like two or three colors in your eye. What is the darkest shade in your eye? Not counting the ring around your eye, because that's something different. And then, and he'll say that is your shade of brown that you're supposed to wear or whatever. Well, actually, that one's from your hair. And then the ring around your eye is your shade of black. And some people don't need to be wearing black. If the ring around your eye is a charcoal gray, that's your shade of black.
Hmm.
Or if it's a dark, like a grayish olive green, that's your shade of black. So it's all different kinds of things like that. But he breaks it down into you have an energy color, if you need a pick me up, or if you're wanting to bring in energy to a board meeting, for instance. He gives examples like that. You have a tranquil color if somebody's been through something traumatic and you're trying to comfort them. There are things that can help with that, like based on what colors you wear. I just think it's really, really fascinating. So anyway, that's what this book is about. So
I wish I could read books like that, but
you can't.
I can't.
Oh,
I don't know why, but I lose. I don't know. I want fiction. I'm a fiction reader. I
well, if
wish I
you
was.
prefer to watch a video, somebody did a YouTube video on it. That's how I first
Mm,
ran across it.
yeah.
That kind of breaks
Well,
it all down and how it works.
I
And
think I remember you talking about some other color wheel thing that you did. Maybe it was a season thing
mm-hmm,
earlier years ago.
mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's a little bit different, but it's really interesting.
I usually just let John say, I like that color on you, and then I'm good. Whatever. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
I'm
that's okay.
I got my giggle out of me. Okay, my next one is something pretty simple. It's just this is what I wash my face with. It's just
Baby
baby Dove.
Dove.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's just it's nothing special at all. And it's not expensive. I mean, it's not cheap. It's like $6 or $7 for this size bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it smells good, and I feel like it's not anything that I don't know. I just haven't I saw a meme the other day that no, Michelle Massey sent it to me that had a pair of Huarache sandals. Remember those? May have been a little
Mm-hmm.
before your time. Huarache sandals, spelled Huarache. And the meme said, if you remember what these are, it's time for night serum. So, but I don't do any of that, and I probably should. But this, I just feel like it. When I wash my face with it, I feel like my face is clean, and then I also have it when the kids come and they can take like I can use this to. It's just a baby wash. So anyway, I know that's not fascinating or anything, but it's one of my
Hmm.
favorite things because I bought it over and over again, and it's something that I use every day. So I thought maybe people might want to try it.
Well, whatever you're doing, just keep on doing it. Whatever you're not doing, just keep on doing it. You have great skin. You have very
Thanks.
youthful skin.
It's because you're seeing me from across the
Is that what it
radio
is?
waves or whatever it is.
Well, I see you in person also sometimes.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, my next one is I didn't bring it over here to show you, but it's my blender
Mhm.
because you know how you probably have one of those fancy Vitamix blenders that you
I
found at
don't.
Goodwill.
No, I have a KitchenAid though, but not a
Oh,
Vitamix.
okay.
No.
Well, you know how they're very expensive, but
Hmm.
they pulverize and juice anything. Well, I found one that's pretty close, and it wasn't very expensive. And the brand is called it looks like Home Geek. HOM. Excuse me. Well, there I go. Lasted so long. HOMGEEK. It's one word, Home Geek. I guess that's how you pronounce it. But um, when I make tomato sauce, I don't want to have to bother with seeding them or peeling tomatoes or anything like that. And so usually I'll roast them and then throw it in this blender with, garlic and basil, olive oil, things like that. And it just pulverizes everything. And
Mm.
I've tried using a food processor, a regular blender, even an immersion blender, and it will not break up those tomato seeds. Like you can
Hmm.
still feel the texture. And I can throw anything frozen and ice in my smoothie. This kind makes the soups, like the hot soups and things like that too.
Bisques
So
and stuff. Hmm.
yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd share that in case somebody else is also looking for a powerful blender but doesn't want to throw out the big bucks for the Vitamix. It's the Hum Geek
How
blender.
did you find it?
I looked online. I just started researching powerful blender and I looked up one that had a lot of really good reviews and was in my budget. And then I ordered it and I've been very happy with it. I use it for everything
Hmm. So how do you roast a tomato?
in the oven. I when I get a bunch of tomatoes enough to fill a baking sheet, I spread them out in a single layer, drizzle it with a little olive oil, stick it in the oven at 425 and roast it for an hour. And that releases most of the juices. So then you just lift up the tomatoes, the pulp part and stick it in the blender with whatever flavors you want and whir it up. And then
You
I
core
can
it?
them. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, when I cut them up, I'll cut out that little top piece, but I don't like dig out the core or anything.
Well, I've just never done that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
You're doing one more, right?
I have one more. Yeah.
Okay.
And mine are vintage tablecloths.
Oh, I
that are
love
fun to look
vintage
for.
tablecloths.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's one of them this is my favorite one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It feels like linen.
I
I'm not
love
sure if
those
it is, but it
things.
feels like linen. It may just be cotton, but it's, just fun colors. And this one is not my favorite, but I still like it. It's the same texture material, but it's got those vintage colors. And I like when we did that, I think I told y'all about the date night that we did on our deck last year with different couples, and I put everyone at a different table. So I went looking for some of these. And if you go to an antique store, you're going to pay more because they know they're antique, but sometimes you can find them pretty often. You can find them at a Goodwill or an art thrift store or something like that, and it'll be $2.99. But those are just fun. If you've got lots of different tables that you need a tablecloth on, and I don't use tablecloths very much, only for special things. And but you can have kind of like you were talking about with your mismatched chairs and things, but it's fun to have mismatched tablecloths, but they still have the same kind of vibe to them, which is the vintage 50s and 60s look that I love.
I'm always drawn to those.
Yeah. And they wash nicely, and I don't really even iron them. I just toss them in the dryer. I'll use your ice cube trick and press them in the dryer like that. So I love looking for those, and that's one of the things I always go to the textile section at a thrift store and just to see what they have. I saw a bunch of handkerchiefs the other day that were vintage, and those are fun too. Some of them that are not in very good shape, you don't really want to think about, as a handkerchief people blew their nose into, but there's some like when Jordan and Aaron got married, my friend Carol gave me a vintage hanky, and kind of the mother of the groom kind of thing to carry in case there were tears, which there were. And I've done that a few times with friends, giving them vintage hankies for their kids' weddings. So anyway, that's my last one.
That's a sweet one. My last one also is not sweet. It's PJs from Costco. They have this, and I can't do show and tell because they're in the dirty clothes.
Okay.
But they're long pants, short sleeve tops. It's a two-piece. Long pants, short sleeve tops. They're super, super soft, and they have pockets in the pants.
The pockets. We all need pockets.
Yes, and they're inexpensive. And the brand is Flora. That's the first word, and the second word is Nikrooz.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Have you? Nikrooz. And so I bought one set when we were in Costco just because they felt so soft and comfortable, and tried them and loved them. And so the next time we went back, there's like 3 different patterns, and you can get them online too. But the next time I went back, I got another set because I liked them so much. But Neil likes them too. He thinks they're really cute and soft. And but anyway, there's nothing better than a good set of PJs. So that's my last one.
I wonder if those are seasonal or if you can always get them there.
They may be seasonal. I don't know. Because since they're short sleeves, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, fun. You have any runners up or anything?
Well, I did have some extra ones on here. Let me see if I want to. What did I scratch out?
Because I have one runner up that I can use if you want to go one more.
Okay. Well, I was going to mention the chocolate covered gingerbread cookie folk from Trader Joe's.
And Trader Joe's has the coolest snacks and things.
Yes, they do. And Holly Steves introduced me to these last year at a party, and they were so, so good that I went online, but Trader Joe's doesn't share any of their stuff online. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't.
You have to go into their store. And we don't have one here, so we have to go all the way to Nashville, and they were out. So that's the reason I'm mentioning this now, even though it's only September. You want to be watching for those things, and you want to grab them when you see them.
So it's just apparently,
Christmas? Yes, it's a holiday thing. Apparently, it is a cult favorite.
What's it called
again?
They're
called chocolate covered gingerbread cookie folk. but
Chocolate
the
covered.
gingerbread part on the inside is kind of soft and almost has, I don't really know how to describe it, but almost has like a hint of orange spice. And when I first saw them, I just got them because they were cute, this little chocolate dipped thing.
Mhm.
And I took one bite and I thought, what in the world? They were so good. And so anyway, I'm keeping my eye open early this year to stock up on them when I find them. But
Hmm.
you're
That
gonna want
sounds
to try
really good.
that.
I love gingerbread. John's not a
Mm-hmm.
big gingerbread eater, but
Neither
I
is
like the
Neil.
cake gingerbread. I like gingerbread
I do
cookies.
too. Oh, I do too. And neither is Neil. But I found a recipe that's supposed to be similar to these things, so I'm gonna try and see if I can make them. But
That
that's
sounds
my
delicious.
honorable mention. What's your honorable mention?
Okay, my honorable mention is another game, and I texted you about it, and
Mm-hmm.
we played it at the retreat. It's called Ransom Notes.
Oh, it's a little box.
Yeah, it's a small box.
Okay.
It's still pretty heavy though, because it's got a
Mm-hmm.
big, like 4 decks of cards in it. But it is, so you just draw a card from the stack, and then everyone has like a handful of magnetic tiles, like the kind that you can put on the refrigerator, that
Mm-hmm.
have words.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a little small square black, it looks like a teeny tiny cookie sheet. And then everybody gets a handful of the magnetic tiles, and you spread them out in front of you. And then someone draws a card and reads what's on the card, and you have to make a sentence with your magnetic tiles that answers what the card says. Like, for example, on the back of the box, it says, ask a child in the airplane seat behind you to stop kicking. So then you have to look at all of your handful of tiles, which is probably about, I don't know, 75 tiles, little tiny things. And you have to make a sentence or a couple of sentences out of those words. So, like on the back of the box, someone put this sentence together: young man, why foot enemy? I suffer. So it was funny. I have to say it wasn't hilarious. We didn't come it we played it at the retreat, and some of us could come up with some really fun things, and others you're
Mm-hmm.
like, I have no idea, because you only have like 90 seconds.
Oh no.
To me, I would think maybe make it 2.5 minutes to give you a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more time to look through what you have and to put it together better. But it's just such a unique idea, and some of them are really funny, and some of them you have absolutely no words that fit, and so you try to put them together, and it's funny. So anyway, that would be my runner up.
Did you have to remove any of the cards?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Because
We did a
when
few.
you sent me that, I looked it up and one of the descriptions said that not family friendly. Like if you want it to be family friendly, you have to remove some cards.
Mm,
So I was just wondering, what did they mean by that? Like
yeah.
3 or 4 cards or half of the cards
Well, we
or
didn't look through all of them, so I'm sure there's probably some more, because there's four decks of cards,
wow.
like the kind about the size that you would play a deck of cards.
So there'd be
And
plenty of
oh
playable
yeah,
cards.
oh yeah.
Yeah. That
And
sounds
we
fun.
took out probably 10 words, and there may be some more in there that we didn't come across, but
Mm-hmm.
so probably 2 or 3 times we'll play it before we get everything out that needs to come out. But it
Mm-hmm.
was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many people can play at one time?
Um, Probably quite a few. It doesn't 3 to 6 players.
Okay.
It says ages 15 plus. That's probably because there's a few things in there that need to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes 30 to 90 minutes to play a whole game. I mean, you can play as long as you want. And so the way that you win is, so one person draws the card and reads it. Everybody makes their sentence. And then on one corner of the box, it says judge. And you spin the box, and whoever the box points at that says judge, that person has to be the judge of all of the different sentences that are read.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes you may want to pick your own. But
Mm-hmm.
if you do pick your own, then everyone has to agree that yours is the best, or you lose. And so, I mean, there's so many games out there, and you think, how in the world can you come up with another game that's fun and unique and clean and all that? But this one, I think it'll be fun.
You shared 2 games.
I know
You're becoming a game person.
you're rubbing off on me.
You've changed.
in a good way, right?
That's right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I love hearing what you like, and I'm usually making my little list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've
I
got
can
my
be
list
just
of your
like
things.
you.
That Bible map thing, seriously, that's a game changer. I mean, that's
Mhm.
something that I wonder, do you have to have Wi-Fi to use it, or is it,
That I don't know yet.
because I'm just wondering
Don't
if we
know.
can use that out, when we're in
Hmm.
Israel or wherever.
Yeah,
It looks
maybe it
like,
just downloads and you have all that information
yeah,
already.
yeah. We need to look into that a little bit more. And you
Hmm.
can pull the Bible part down, and then you can see more of the map. So
Hmm.
that's kind of interesting too.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's John is gonna just flip when he sees that.
All right.
Good deal.
Well, it was great talking to you. I know you have a class to prepare for, and I have a cow to milk, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Well,
And until next time, Carla Moore,
keep looking at Kathy Pollard.
keep looking up. Love you so much.